Yo, is that Candy? Is that Candy back on Hypixel Skyblock? You bet it is. Alright guys, so it has literally been almost 2 months since the last Hypixel update. You know, the one where they like show us all of these dragon sets. They gave us the aspect of the dragons. They gave us a lot of good content, but unfortunately, people like me and people like my fellow YouTubers and just like the super OP people on the server basically went ahead and completed everything that you needed to do within like the first 2 weeks. I'm talking about full superior sets, full strong sets, maxed out dragon hunter, like literally everything that you needed people pretty much had. And unfortunately, Hypixel just has not been able to like come out with a relatively game-changing update in quite a while. So if you guys have seen some of my last videos on Hypixel Skyblock, they've literally all been leaked videos. Like I'm talking about, these admins have just been leaking and leaking and leaking and leaking and leaking and leaking so many different items that honestly I don't even think there's that many things that like will come out that we will be surprised about at this point, unless they're just hiding, you know, something that's like really crazy. But to be honest, I don't even know if that's gonna happen, because there's just been so many things that have came out that everybody has seen, that everybody's made a video on, and to be quite frank, like I'm not that excited for the Dungeons update as I probably would have been if they would have definitely released it a little bit sooner rather than literally having to wait 2 whole months for it. But boys, in today's video, I'm going to be basically showing you guys how to prepare for the dungeon updates, the things that I've been doing, the things that I've seen a lot of the other top tier players do, and hopefully you guys still have enough time to go ahead and replicate that, and you know, whenever dungeon comes out, we can basically slay everything together. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to be discussing on basically the best way to prepare is your armor. So with the last update, the Dragons update, we were pretty much given access to a variety of different dragon sets. For example, I personally use a strong dragon set. A lot of other people who are a little bit more richer than me use a superior dragon set. Others might use like a young, an old, an unstable, or a wise set. But I do think that looking into the future and looking at the new update that's gonna happen, I really feel like everybody should get themselves at least a wise dragon set. Now, you guys might be asking, wait a second, Candy, yo, those stats aren't that good. Like, you don't really get that much defense, you don't really get any crit damage, you don't get like any strength, you don't get pretty much anything out of it except for a lot of mana. But if you guys have ever watched any of the leaked items, you can see that there's a actually massive focus on healing and on mana, with each item specifically that's been leaked so far having a mana capability that actually has a chance to either heal you, either deal a little bit more damage. But I've seen that there's a main focus on healing. Now obviously you don't want to just have a wise dragon set with like nothing on it. You want to make sure that you at least have godly on 2 pieces and then very wise on 2 other pieces, because you guys don't know, very wise will basically give you an extra 100 intelligence on top of the intelligence that you already have with the set, and then godly will basically not only increase your crit chance and your crit damage, but it will increase your strength, making it so that way whenever you're fighting those dragons, you're not necessarily just hidden like you have a wooden sword, but you know, if you have like an aspect of the dragon or something, you'll definitely be able to at least survive there and make sure that you're not dying. Because the next thing that we're going to be moving on to is the zombie sword. Now, the zombie sword by itself isn't really that good. I mean, it only deals 100 damage, it only has 50 strength, and it only really gives you like an extra 50 intelligence, which in comparison to something like a spicy aspect of dragons, which deals 225 damage, 105 strength, and if you go ahead and reforge it with spicy, it deals 100% crit damage, it is not a damage sword. But if you go ahead and take a closer look at the zombie sword, and then look at the ability called Zombie Sword. Wait a second, why would they name it Zombie Sword for the ability when it's actually Zombie Sword? But anyways, it actually has a right click ability which heals you for 20% of your health and all the players around you for 10%, and it only costs 70. Now if you guys don't remember, the other ability with the Wise Dragon set, all abilities cost 50% less mana. But if you go ahead and then put on our Wise Dragon set, and then if we look at our mana bar, we literally have 609 mana, meaning that we could theoretically use this ability around 20 times, and we only actually need to use it 5 times to heal ourselves 20% of the health. So basically, if you want to be invincible whenever the dungeons comes out, you want to make sure that you have at least a Wise Dragon set and a zombie sword. You don't obviously have to have it maxed out because this is not really going to be your damage sword. For example, I'm using an aspect of the dragon so as my primary damage sword, and for example, if I actually go ahead and then get low, I could basically just, you know, switch, right, switch, right, and then switch, and then I'll basically heal myself for pretty much ever, which honestly is a really good thing to be able to do, especially since we can see that damage is going to be a really big key component within the dungeons update. Now, obviously, if you don't want to go and then grind and then get all the frags or get lucky with wise dragon sets or superior dragon sets, your best bet is to probably go and make a lot of money so that way you can go ahead and afford all of it, because to be honest, you can probably get a wise dragon set or a golly wise dragon set, whatever you want to do with all the reforges, for around maybe 2 million. Given it, like, if you know, buying it at like a really late time when there's not a lot of players on, but easily maybe 3 million for the entire set. And then if you want to go ahead and get yourself a zombie sword, that would probably run you up maybe another couple 100,000. So realistically, you're gonna need like 5 million maximum to actually make sure that you get pretty much everything that you need. So what I have actually been doing is that I have a bunch of these claim minions. So for example, we've got a claim minion level 9 over here, and what it does is that whenever this stuff fills up, basically I also have a budget hopper here. Now if you guys want to go a little bit farther, what you could do is that you can get one of the enchanted hoppers, which rather than selling for 50% of the selling price, it would sell for 90%. And then if you want to go ahead and get yourself like a super compactor or like maybe a enchanted lava bucket, that could also work. But for now, I pretty much just have a bunch of these claim minions all around me, and if I leave for like a day, I can easily make myself around $300,000 to $400,000 pretty easily, not having to worry. And I only really have these budget hoppers because chances are that I'm going to be on and sell these things, which is kind of weird right now because for some reason a lot of these have sold and I just absolutely missed them. But if you guys have a bunch of claim minions, you can pretty much make enough money within a week to basically go and then actually get yourself enough money to go and buy yourself a wise dragon set or basically any dragon set. Now, another key aspect that I would say to have in preparation for the dungeons update is potions. I know a lot of people don't really think about this, but for example, I have a bunch of archery potions. I also have a bunch of strength 5 potions as well as a bunch of critical potions. Now, obviously, because of the amount of money that I have, which is around like 25 million right now, we are able to go ahead and, you know, pretty much buy any ingredient that we want off of the auction house. Or since we just have a bunch of minion slots over here, we can pretty much just go ahead and then place any redstone minion, glowstone minion, gunpowder minion, whatever basically I need, and then get that stuff done. But I would definitely recommend having pots because not only will your damage be increased by quite a lot, your survivability will just essentially be increased too, because if you can kill everything around you, odds are that you probably won't die as often. And last but not least, boys, we need to make sure that we have our accessory bag pretty much completely filled, and you want to make sure that you at least have a couple of extra talismans just kind of sitting in your inventory ready to go and talisman spam. Now obviously 1% on a talisman isn't really going to do much for your overall damage, but if you go ahead and take 1% or 2% and then multiply it literally by like 30, it actually adds up and can definitely change the fight whenever you're going to fight a dungeon dragon or a dungeon boss. But if I'm about to go fight something and die, but I actually have like an extra 4 strength or an extra 3% crit damage, I can actually go and, you know, kill something a lot quicker than if I didn't beforehand. Now, I feel like this is pretty common knowledge, but, you know, if there are any people who are, like, really new watching this video and just aren't really that prepared for, like, you know, the dungeons update, I really do feel like if you guys follow all the steps that I showed you guys and pretty much do everything that I told you, you know, you get your talisman bag up, you get yourself a wise dragon set or any other dealing set, you get yourself either an aspect of the dragons, a rapid runes bow, or anything around the same size as that or the same damage basing as that, you should be pretty much good to go, boys. But anyways, I hope this video did inform you guys, and if it did, go ahead and drop a like down below. But yeah, make sure you guys also go check out the videos like on my channel that are not just Hypixel Skyblock, because I do put a lot of effort into those, and I'm just trying to like make sure that my channel doesn't necessarily get stuck into Hypixel Skyblock. So if you guys just go ahead, you know, click on them, drop a like, maybe watch them if you really are like, you know, feeling it. I do put a lot of effort into them, and it would be greatly appreciated. But nevertheless, boys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you did enjoy, go ahead and drop a like down below, and let's see if we can get this dungeons update anytime soon.